So welcome to Tactics Breakdown. Today we're going to have a discussion about Tottenham Hotspur. We all know that they are going through a very bad patch, and as a club, most people are thinking, what is going on with Tottenham Hotspur? How can they fix this thing and make sure that they avoid relegation? We're going to look at some histories that is back in Tottenham Hotspur, especially going into the last 9 games of the season. And also we are going to look at how can they fix this team, how can they turn things around and make their team avoid relegation and maybe look at winning the Champions League and getting into Europe next season as they did last season by winning the Europa and getting into the Champions League. We are going to go more into details. It's Igor Tudor, that coach to help Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to give you more information about it. But remember, this show is brought to you by MyBet.Africa, the #1 betting platform in the country. So I would always advise you, go onto the MyBet.Africa platform, the QR code on the screen. You'll be able to scan it and get a chance to register on MyBet.Africa. They are the #1 betting platform. Don't place your bet on any other platform. MyBet is a truly Ghanaian company, and I'm advising you to place your bet on MyBet.Africa to stand the chance to win amazing with them. They are giving bonuses, ACA bonus, high odds on MyBet.Africa. So this match, MyBet.Africa is the place you need to place your bet on. With also our other sponsor, that is Staylock's Apartment. They are sponsoring the show, making sure that during this month of March, they are giving us amazing discount. Ghana is 69 years, and Staylock is telling us that they are taking out $69 off all the apartments. So scan the QR code on the screen, go onto their website, and check out some of the apartments they have available. They have a studio apartment, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom apartment located at Signature and Lockswood. Anywhere you want, you just contact them. Their numbers are also on the screen. Contact them and get a chance to book an apartment with them. Use the code TTPOD anytime you contact them, and they're going to give you more discount apart from the $69 they are taking off all the apartments this March. Let's go into Tottenham Hotspur. Now, they've set the record. We are going to look at some record stats right now. And Spurs' longest winning run in the Premier League has now, from January 2006 to present, it's 11. The last time they did that was 10 in January till March. That is in 1994. They did 10, and we've seen them do 8, 9, 9, 9. But this has been their longest winningless run, and it has brought a lot of concern. Igor Tudor was brought in to fix the team. We all know him as the fixer from Juventus to Marseille. He did some fixing for them, made the team avoid relegation, qualify for European competitions, and were performing well. But what is happening at Tottenham Hotspur is Igor Tudor, that coach to fix them, are Tottenham going on relegation. Let's look at some other statistics back in this particular game. And in 1975, Tottenham has failed to win 11 successful league games for the first time since October 1975, whilst it's the first time they have lost 5 consecutive Premier League matches since November 2004. So these are bad stats. I think every Tottenham fans wouldn't like to see this, especially going into a season that they are looking at just avoiding relegation after winning the Europa League. Last season, something similar happened. Let's look at other statistics and the matches that Tottenham had. From the 1st of January, they played Brentford, that ended in a draw. They played Sunderland, that also ended in a draw. They played Bournemouth, that Bournemouth won by 3-2. West Ham also won by 2-1. Burnley with a 2-2 draw. Manchester City with a 2-2 draw. Man United 2-0. Newcastle 2-1. Arsenal 4-1. Fulham 2-1. And Crystal Palace 3-1. So in their last 5 games, they've lost all. And in their last 11, they've not been able to pick a win. Their next game is against Liverpool at Anfield, and it's going to be a difficult game. After Liverpool, they'll be playing Nottingham Forest, which is also going to be a difficult game. What is next for Tottenham Hotspur? Looking at this, now there are records, history, bad things Tottenham Hotspur fans don't want to hear. This season, only Wolves have lost more games at home, that is 20, than Tottenham Hotspur since the start of last season. Whilst Tottenham Hotspur have had a fewer home points, 31, of ever-present side since the start of the 2024-2025 season. So meaning things has been solely bad. But let's look at where this whole issue started. I think it started last season when they decided to sack Ange after winning the Europa League. They felt like his contribution to the team in the Premier League was not good. So they were looking at him going, and they bringing in a coach who could help them make sure that next season they'll be challenging for the title or qualifying for European competition straightforward without not using any Europa backdoor route. But I think that was the biggest problem of Tottenham Hotspur. Looking at Ange Postecoglou, in his first season, he had an average squad, I would name it that way. looking at the players he came to meet, the players he was starting his journey with, he went 10 games straight without no defeat, and he got his first defeat against Chelsea after going down by 2 men and played that game with 9 players on the pitch, or 10 players on the pitch, including the goalkeeper. So it was something that was very struggling for him. And after that, injury set in, but he made sure that he qualified them for the Europa League, which helped them secure that Champions League spot this season. And going into that is last season, his form was on and off. They were losing games, crucial games. We saw records that were even more closer to what we are seeing now for Ange. But what he did perfectly was to win them that Europa League to get them the Champions League. And I think that the other biggest mistake they did was appointing Thomas Frank. Looking at the history of Thomas Frank, last season he averaged a 1.5 points per game. That is 43%. That was one of his lowest compared to previous clubs he has been to. So at Brentford, Thomas Frank wasn't that a top manager to move to Tottenham Hotspur. Looking at the way he played his game, yes, he got some good results against some of the big teams. He defeated Manchester City by home and away victory. That is last 3 seasons. Even though City won the league, he did that double over them. That showed some promising talent, especially as a new manager coming in. But looking at him, I think no, Thomas Frank wasn't that manager Tottenham Hotspur should be looking out for. With the culture in this Tottenham Hotspur team, you could see that they find it very difficult to adapt the style of winning or going in for trophies. So bringing in a coach who doesn't have the same mentality as the club, or who has the same mentality as the club and can make a lot of changes, was the big issue. We've seen coaches like Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte come in and couldn't make something good of this Tottenham Hotspur. That means that you need a bigger character to come in to make sure that he brings in that installment, make them feel that we need to go in and win competitions, we need to go in and perform so well. That is something that they were looking at. But Thomas Frank was sacked in January, and Hugo Tudor was also brought in as the fixer, as I mentioned earlier, to fix them, make sure that they avoid relegation, stay in the league, and next season they prepare better. We've seen names like Mauricio Pochettino, we've seen names like Xavi Hernandez, we've seen names like Enzo Maresca's names being mentioned as the next Tottenham Hotspur manager. But the biggest concern is, if they are to be relegated, which of these managers would come in to pick Tottenham Hotspur from the Championship and bring them back into the Premier League? I'm not sure any of these managers, maybe unless Pochettino, because of the love he has for Tottenham Hotspur. But apart from that, Enzo Maresca will be looking at challenging for a league title, playing in the Champions League. Xavi Hernandez would also be looking at something similar. So that is something Tottenham Hotspur needs to avoid, especially going into the rest of the season. Looking at their fixtures coming up, their next 2 fixtures is against... Their next fixtures in the Premier League is against Liverpool, against Nottingham Forest, against that is Sunderland, and also the Stadium of Light, and they'll be playing at home at Brighton. Looking at these fixtures, I'm not tipping Tottenham Hotspur to pick at least 9 points from these 4 games. So meaning they'll be looking at battling relegation to the end of the season. But can they win the Champions League and get into European competition? Has any club done that before? Yes. Wigan Athletic went on relegation but qualified through the FA Cup and got into the Europa spot, but couldn't perform so well. So they were playing the Championship and also playing the Europa League. But I think looking at Tottenham Hotspur, the Champions League run is going to be difficult. It's going to start with Atletico Madrid, which has been one club who has been very consistent in the Champions League, getting into quarterfinals, semi-finals, and even 2 finals that they lost. They'll be looking at rewriting history. After them, they are looking at La Liga is gone for them. The Copa del Rey is also available for them. So the Champions League is also one trophy they'll be looking at battling to the end. And I'm not sure Tottenham Hotspur can go past Atletico Madrid with this form they are in, especially in the Champions League. So likely they need to avoid relegation and stay in the Premier League next season without any European competition. Get a manager who is known for winning matches, going on a long streak winning rate, and get them that high position, or even go on to win the Premier League if things are to go on well. With Hugo Tudor coming into the Tottenham Hotspur, we've seen him going with a 3-back, we've seen him going with a 4-back, we've seen him try a whole lot of things, but it's not working. But looking at this Tottenham Hotspur team, I think the best solution and the best formation to help this team is, if everybody is fit, is a 4-3-3 diamond formation, and it will be on the screen for you to see. I think in the middle, in the defensive pairing, if Romero is back, Van der Ven, after the red card he picked up, is also back. You have a Romero, Van der Ven, that is Udogie or Spence on the left, and you have Pedro Pero on the right. In the middle, I'll go with a flat 3, that is Bissouma, Sarr, and also Gallagher. I think these are 3 quality ball-working midfielders who can give you everything you need on the ball, especially with tackling, with ball progression, and a lot. Coming into, you could get the likes of... And with the front 3, as I said, in a diamond formation, I'll go for Xavi Simons in the number 10 role and Richarlison or Solanke or Kolomwani or Solanke as my double strikers in this role. Looking at their team, they have good quality strikers. They are the only team in the Premier League with 4 strikers as of now. So if you can pair them on 2-2 occasion, it helps you with more goals up front. Then the middle would be more flat to make a lot of tackles. Pedro Porro, Spence or Udogie, we know are very good on the ball. They can search forward and get those crosses, get into the attacking space and help Tottenham win. So that the midfield 3 of Gallagher, Bissouma and also Sarr can sit, make sure that they protect the back line or the back 2. Anytime Udogie surging forward, Pedro Porro will stay, being a 3-back system, and they would have 2 in maybe Sarr and Bissouma behind or in front of them, with Gallagher joining in, making that box-to-box run and see how things go. But I think Ugo Tudor, standard to the EPL, is far apart. He's not an EPL standard manager. We've known that he has done good works with Juventus, he has done good works with Marseille, but I think with the Premier League comes with a lot of tax. The Premier League comes with a lot of competitions. The least clubs in the Premier League, the likes of Wolves, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, would give you a fight for your money. So it's going to be a very tough thing for Tottenham Hotspur. But if you had to ask me, would Tottenham avoid relegation? I think yes, they'll find ways and means to avoid relegation, and they'll prepare better going into next season. Looking at the coaches available, I think they have quality attack, quality ball playing players. They have quality technical players, the likes of Mohamed Kudus, Madison, Kulusevski, Bentancur, and a whole lot of players in their setup that could come into next season and perform so well. So they need a good attacking ball progression manager who would come in. So Pochettino wouldn't be a good pick for me. I think if they could get their hands on the likes of Enzo Maresca, Xavi Hernandez, it would be a good pick for them. Coming up with a mentality, a coach who has seen it or won it, or coming into introducing these players into this particular mentality and getting them running next season. They'll be playing in the, if they don't qualify for or win the Champions League, they'll be playing the Premier League, they'll be playing the EFL, they'll be playing the FA Cup. These are 3 competitions they can fight and get to win one. So I think Tottenham Hotspur has a big task on their hand. Now 9 games to the end of the season, difficult 9 games. They have Chelsea, they have Liverpool, they have that is Nottingham Forest, Brighton and co to play, especially with these 9 games into the end of the season. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think Tottenham Hotspur would avoid relegation? Do you think Tottenham Hotspur would go on to relegation? But don't forget, like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that when we post any videos concerning football, you get a chance to also watch. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think Ugo Tudor can send Tottenham to relegation, or he would help them survive as he has been fixing other clubs? Thank you for watching the show.